All right, just in case, though, I'm server muting it.
I just server muted it, bro. I'm the one who server muted it.
All right. With that being said, yes, indeed. Let's go over the second point again, the Hyoman point. So, what exactly? Well, exactly where we start, because it's a good
No, no,
place
no.
to start off.
Just say what I think, okay? Last night I didn't strike your debate because I was fatigued and you know that. Okay, so I'm gonna ask you again. You believe that because Siyun's actor said that his endurance increased there, and that's shown because and that was shown because of the Hyoman fight, and Hyoman hit less than Hyoman hit less than Wu Yong did in against Siyun.
Actually, before
Therefore,
all this, are you live? Wait, hold on, Deacon. Are you live?
therefore, okay, he said yes,
All right.
yes. Okay, therefore Wu Yong over Hyoman. Therefore, Hyoman over Wu Yong in striking. Is that your argument?
To further clarify, just so like I'm not strawmanned at all here, right? Simply
All right.
because Jihoon cites this as an example of Siyun showing higher hit taking ability, right? And he's saying this in comparison to class one, right? So we pick out a fight, right? Strongest opponent that Siyun got relative to, or most people's general opinion, that would be Wu Young, right? In Wu Young's fight, he hits Siyun much more, whereas Hyoman hits Siyun less. If Siyun is showing more hit-taking ability than he is doing in the Wu Yang fight, this must mean that Hyoman is hitting harder per hit.
No, because I don't see how the premise follows that conclusion. Because you're saying that you're saying that just because okay, he showed more hit taking compared to his class one stuff. That could just be him being less reactant. But I don't see how that means that Wu Yong that that Human does strike harder. That could just be Siyun's that could just be Siyun's endurance, like said in the scan. That could just be him his reactant to pain being decreased or increased or whatever.
So you're trying to say that showing more hit-taking ability can be somehow just purely just allocated to just reacting less to a specific punch, or is it parsimonious to then assume that they're talking about the ability to take hits being shown and proven more in this sense, meaning he's taking
That
more
what I
damage, right, on an objective sense, in a non-relative sense?
reactant. What I mean by reactant could be his ability to tank hits as well. That's what I could mean, like him being increased or decreased or whatever.
But that doesn't attack the point. The point is he shows more hit-taking ability in this fight and not the other.
No, the argument is the refutation is basically me questioning the premises. Like, how does the premises follow to the conclusion? What's the inference rule? Because I don't see how it follows.
You don't see how it follows. I don't know what you're not getting. He's showing more hit-taking ability than any other fight.
No, Yoga, you're not getting me. I don't see. Okay, even if I grant that Sion's endurance did increase, I don't see how Hyoman healing him less in that fight. And no, okay, even if Sion's endurance did increase and it's shown that in the Hyoman fight, I don't see how that and Hyoman did hit Sion less. Therefore Wu Yong hits less per hit. But I don't see how that premises alone follows to that conclusion. Why does why is that conclusion true? Why does that premise follow to that conclusion? How do you derive this conclusion? I don't get the
I've
argument.
already
That
I've
premise.
already said this to you, but I'm just going to say this in different words because so you can understand it properly.
Yeah.
Right? Showing more hit taking ability. The only way to prove objectively that you have more hit taking ability in the sense of an example, right, is of course to take more force, to take more damage, right? To take more, right? More to take, right? With that being said, if Hyoman is putting more force on
No.
Siyun, then
Wait,
his class one self has taken force to him, right? And Hyoman is hitting Shiyun less than Wu Young did. It then logically follows that the DPH of Hyoman is more than the DPH of Wu Young. It's very simple.
Okay, Buga, I gave you an analogy, but I don't agree with it. I don't agree that the fact that just because
Okay,
just because the numbers did increase and it was shown, that means that the striking that was imposed onto them did did more damage. I don't agree with that. What's gonna be the argument for that?
how
Why does
else do you how else do you show that one has better hit taking ability via an example? I don't see how you do that.
it doesn't have why does it have to be just why does it have to be shown by someone that has higher striking? I don't see how you derive this from.
It
I don't can you
it
give an argument?
directly correlate. The only way to show via example that you have better hit taking ability is showing the ability to take higher force, right, at a increased level, right?
Okay,
This is very simple.
no, Booga, now you're just stonewalling. I'm disagreeing with that. I'm asking for an argument for that. Why is that true?
What do you mean argument for that? This just directly follows. I don't see what you're not. Okay, let me. I'ma just because he says not to crash out, right? Um, with that being said, you keep saying, how does this follow? How does this follow? I'm directly showing you like how the premises directly lead to the conclusion. Like as you already said, right? You dodged my question as to how else one can prove by example, right? This can indeed be proven by an example, right? Like you dodged my question, right? Hence, the only thing is, unless you can prove there's some other thing, right? The only way to prove this contextually is if you're taking more, right? He takes more, Hyoman is hitting him less. It's very simple. It's just it's deductive.
Yo, I didn't hear a single thing you said. Could you repeat that again? My bad. I did. My bad. My bad. I didn't hear you. I was off. I was doing something. My bad. I didn't hear you. Could you repeat that?
And you're saying I can't crash out.
No,
Okay, this is
I
gonna be
didn't. I'm sorry. I didn't hear you. I'm sorry. I was doing something earlier. My bad.
all right. To say it again, right? You dodged my question when I asked you how else can one prove via an example one is able to to show better hit taking ability, right? Which I've said the only way to do this via an example, right, is of course to take more, right? To take more, the ability to take more. You're showing the ability to take more, right? So to show that you have the ability to take more, you take more.
Yeah.
If it's via the example, right?
Yeah,
If Shiyun is taking more from Hyoman, right, then Wu Young, and Wu Hyoman is hitting Xiyun less, right? This must mean that Hyoman has better DPH, as I've said to you in chat.
I don't see how that's the only dilemma that we can do. I don't see how we can only have those two options. Could you give an argument for that? Why do we only have those two options? If not, that would just be a false economy fallacy.
No, that would just be inductive reasoning. If there is no possible, you have to prove that there's more elements in a data set. We only have one specific element to go off of. I already asked you for another element within this data set in which you refuse to give, right? So this is the only element you can go off of unless you then say a possibility of something else.
Buga, how is that my burden when you're the one asserting that this is a way to find it? This is the way to derive that conclusion. This and the second point. So that's just I don't see how we can only have those two options. Okay, right now I don't see why I also have to why I'm also burdened to answer. I've never asserted a claim or anything. I don't see how this is my
You are
burden to answer.
asserting you are so by placing skepticism on this, right? Because let me actually educate everyone in the VC right now, because people think that saying skepticism in all cases is not asserting anything. If you are placing skepticism, right, upon this being the only thing that is possible to be derived, right, via showing better hit taking ability by evidence, right, you are also asserting that there's a possibility that you can prove this in a different manner. That's why I asked you, is there another way for this to happen? You directly just dodged this question when I asked you it, right?
Wait,
Hence,
what do you
the
mean
only thing we
possibility?
can go off of, right, is indeed this, right? I'm saying I have no way of proving that, okay, this is the only possible conclusion that this is the case, right? Because this is the only thing, right, that directly derives from it under my example, right? There's no other possible way in my view, right, where this can happen, right? And since you are asserting the possibility, I'm now placing the burden on you. What other way can you prove that someone can show better hit-taking ability inside of a scene rather than taking more, right? How? Is he sleeping? Is that snoring? Did he fall asleep? Am I that boring, y'all? Chat, am I that boring?
I think he's talking. He's sorry.
He fell asleep?
Wait, hold on, I'm
Y'all,
back. Right?
y'all.
My mom called me. Wait, it's fine. My mom called me. Okay, so you're basically asking me. You're basically asking me to give you other options to how we can show a character can have other hit tanking ability. Is that what you're asking? And also, can I ask you what you mean by possibility?
I'm saying, right, that
My
the
mom
only
literally called.
conclusion that can be drawn, the only
My mom literally
conclusion that
called.
can, I mean, dude, it sounds like rage bait to me, Subi, and it's working. You're always going to be able to freaking rage bait me, right? But to the point,
No,
though, right?
I'm genuinely trying to debate you, but I'm just not. All right, continue.
Okay, so can you tell your mom to stop rage baiting real quick, please?
Oh.
All right. Well, let's hope your mom stops, rage baiting. Subi's mom, stop rage baiting me. He's having a debate. All right. With that being said,
I have earphones
right?
on, by the way.
Hopefully she heard that anyway. All right.
No, I
Back
heard
with that.
Let's break now. All right, continue.
All right. So yeah, as I'm trying to say here, right? If something is deductively valid, right? For example, P therefore Q, right? If you tell me to prove Y is only Q, right? The conclusion to be drawn, right? I have no way of proving this, right? Other than showing the absence of other Q primes, right? Or other possible Qs or other possible conclusions, right? That can be applied from the premise, right? Basically, that's what I'm trying to ask you. What other conclusion can we draw here, right? Because you said earlier, right, that this would just be, Sion just reacting less, but that doesn't show hit-taking ability, more hit-taking ability. It doesn't sequitur, right? The way to show this via example, as I said before, the sequitur here is, of course, to take more, right? To show more hit-taking ability, to show this is to take more, right?
Yeah, wait, hold on.
Gang.
Oh, tell your mom to shut up, bro. Whoever's in the background, bro.
Wait, you can
Yes,
hear
his mom.
that?
I hear some voice in the background. It's masculine, not feminine, though. I don't know what mom you're talking to, but
This nigga just called my mom's voice masculine. My God, can we call this an auto concession and say that he's mocking my mom? Wait.
no, bro. But did you hear
Let's
what
come
I
back.
said at least, or no?
What I heard a bit of it. Actually, let me lock my. Let me lock my door a bit. All right, continue.
Yeah, do that, man. All right, low key. If your mom enters the room again, please turn on your camera so you can see you fighting your mom. All right, that's what we need. That's what we need to do. All right.
What?
With that being said, the point I made here, right, is that in any case where one tries to place deductive reasoning forth, right, someone says P to Q, right, premise leads to a conclusion, right? Someone can then provide the skepticism. Why does this only lead to said conclusion, which you are trying to do? There's no way for one to prove a deductive truth that it only leads to said deductive truth, other than pointing out the absences of the possibilities, right? Hence,
Basically
that's what I'm
implying
trying
that
to tell you to
claim.
do.
I'm asking you to do the argument for that. Buga, you're basically implying that claim, correct? You basically think there's only those few conclusions. But I'm also asking for the dogmatic justification for that. I'm asking for the dogmatic justification. What by dogmatic justification is that why do you have that belief? What's gonna be the reasoning for your belief? You must have a
I'm
reason for
saying,
that. Because
I'm
but that's
saying,
just but because you don't think that, oh, I don't see any other way to find this. I just see that as an argument of our ignorance. I heard a Yes King
of course,
audio.
you're gonna see it as an argument from ignorance because this applies to any situation someone puts forth a P to Q. P therefore Q, as I'm trying to say to you. If something is deductively valid, right, in any case, right, any sentence
Yeah, I also don't
you can
see
bring
how
up, right,
deductive valid
then
as
of
well.
course, right, someone saying, no. What I'm trying
See
to
how-
then say to you is that the only way you're asking me for justification, right? The only way I can prove, right, that something is deductively valid is if I, right, point out the absence of other possible conclusions under said premise,
Yes.
right? If you are asserting skepticism, which is the same thing as you're asserting, there is more possibilities than this, right? This requires evidence. That's what I'm trying to say to you. You're telling me to put the dogmatic justification, and I'm doing that via the only way it's possible to even do that for a P, therefore Q.
They should stop debating and have heck and save hacks. Okay, whatever, bro. Okay. I also want to ask this. Can you put your argument in a syllogism real quick?
Put my
Buga.
argument in a syllogism.
Yeah.
Okay, so you just want to kind of late there. Yo, am I lagging? Like, am I like delayed in some sense or no?
No, you're not the I can hear you. Jack punches a random guy. Who the fuck?
All right, let me just put this into the syllogism, right? Okay, hopefully I laid this out properly.
No, I don't see that as a syllogism, bro. Do you know what a syllogism is? That's basically P1, P2, P3, P4, and conclusion. And I also don't see how this
I can
syllogism.
obviously place. I can obviously Yeah, I can obviously like put P1, P2, P3, whatever, but it's going to. Okay, you know what? I'll just do that then.
No, that's fine. I understand it. But I'm asking which inference rule did you use here? No, see. Also, to answer your question earlier, you want me? We can also bring in the other factors in that fight.
Which inference rule specifically? Thing is, I actually am not too knowledgeable of different inference rules. The only two I know specifically is modus ponens and modus tollens. But regardless of the specific inference rule I'm doing, I don't know the name for it. It is literally just a premise into conclusion, right? That is deductive.
Oh. Okay. All right. Okay, but I'm gonna first
I don't
answer
know
your
the
question.
name for it, but
No.
I can describe it.
Boga, let me tell you something. I can also answer your question on what other factors can be included when someone is like showing a better endurance or that question earlier. Could you repeat that question again? Just be clear. How can someone show better endurance? Is it only those two options? Is it correct? If you think that I'm basically implying there are other options, and you're basically asking to give those options, correct?
Better hit taking ability specifically because that's what Ji-hoon said. But yes.
Okay, so there can be different options. There can be different explanations. It could be a stronger opponent, like you said, someone with better striking. It could be someone with more hits, but even then, that doesn't really mean much because even then, more hits doesn't also equal to tanking the same amount of hits. If he takes 20 weak punches instead of 5 punches, I don't see how that automatically means like better endurance. But in this case here, let's ignore that. Okay, there's also different fight duration. There's also different stamina. There's also different durability. Not different durability, but different stamina. And also different inconsistencies. And also different emotional state. Or even environment. Because some of you guys here arguing that Siwon has environmental adaptability for some reason. I can see those as options. I don't see how those are bad. Those are wrong in this case.
How does any of those substantiate better hit taking ability?
Which show better hit tanking ability.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. My whole point was that the only way to show this by example is to, of course, take more. You are addressing different possibilities. How does any of what you said now substantiate he has better hit taking ability?
No, it shows that the statement is inconsistent as well. It shows that the statement can be inconsistent as well, because those are the options that could be applied in those same arguments. Like in the first fight, Wu Yong gives him like 4 hits, then he goes down. Now he can suddenly take the same 4 hits. That could be different stamina. That could be like he's the different emotional states. He was still tanking. One of them was tanking. One of them was purposely tanking the hits. One of them was actually trying to fight back.
Oh, okay. Even if we assume, right, that Siyun is taking this via different stamina, different endurance, different durability, etc., how does that now inherently mean that Hyoman is not hitting harder? Because as I've said to you, right, you still haven't given an alternative of how to show better hit taking ability rather than, of course, taking more. You've only shown a different method upon how to take those hits, which is fine. I'm not disagreeing with that right now. However, though, you're not focusing on the argument.
No, because I don't see how that doesn't follow the argument. Booga, could you clarify
Again,
further?
how I've asked you so many times, how does any of what you said now substantiate by example Siyun has better hit taking ability?
Very
How?
sure. No, I'm saying that shows the statement's inconsistencies. That could be that could be a way to show that the statement's inconsistencies.
What is inconsistent about the statements? Hey, he showed better hit taking ability in this fight than the other fight. What's inconsistent?
I gave the example earlier, like Wu Yong giving him four
No, but
hits.
as
And no. Listen to me. Wu Yong gave him four hits. But Seo was actively trying to fight back, and he was tired. Like at that time as well, correct? He was tired, and at this time, Siu wasn't as tired, and he tanked the same four hits. Now he's actually tanking it better and could even stand up after. While the first one he couldn't even stand up and needed to hold on to Wu Yong's shirt in order to stand up properly.
So, are you trying to say that it's inconsistent because Shiyun performs bad against Wu Young in one fight and better the next?
Yeah, sure, you can say that. It's also the story can be inconsistent. Yes.
So, how does that debunk the statement, though? Why is the statement specifically now inconsistent here? Even if we were to grant that Shiyun
That's
was
true.
not fatigued against Wu
Also,
Young,
we had
even
first debate. We did say how we can't take that statement as true. By the way, we can't just say, "Oh, because he can change the story significantly." Because I don't agree the fact that he can change the story
well,
significantly. I can say that he improvised. We in the first debate we already covered that. We
I
already
thought we
said
were
that.
trying to move on from the actor point. What if you want to discuss more about that point, we can first because that is
No,
obviously
you're using the first point to support the
necessary in
second
order
point.
for us to go to this point.
You're using the first point to
Yes,
second
because I
guess.
thought we moved on. Like I thought this point, because I
Wait, hold
thought this
on.
point was like specifically like even if we assumed that my arguments when I said that
Yeah, you're lagging out.
I'm lagging out, I'm cutting out,
You're
I'm
cutting
cutting
out.
out.
Yeah, you
Yeah, sorry, my data. I have data cap, y'all.
We can continue this.
It's very slow.
You can
But y'all
continue.
stop lagging. Y'all stop like chatting for a second, bro. Like,
Yeah, we can stop. We can stop here. I'm also gonna go sleep. We can stop here. We can conclude here.
all right. So continue this later. All right. So y'all just like say like who you guys like thought was getting was this the dismantling thus far. Obviously, you have to leave this point on a cliffhanger because I thought originally we were
I
talking
think
about
there's a
specifically like it.
it's like inconclusive. I think it's inconclusive. I think it's inconclusive.
Well, it's only inconclusive if because like I thought we were debating on the second point, assuming right we went with my first point along anyway. But if you're trying to say okay, it's not substantiated, then
We can go over the entire thing. We can go over the entire thing.
the entire thing. All right. Well, currently at the moment, I am way too laggy. Um, so you guys just tell me like who you guys think was like I don't know, just doing whatever. Let's not put this as like a full conclusion though. Let me leave VC. I hope you can text debate later though, Subi.
You must text a bit. If he wants me to text a bit, I'll give him a whole full ass ratty argument. By the way, I'll give him a full ass ratty argument saying that your character can't move. By the way, my character necessarily wins. I'll give a whole ratty argument. By the way. Is anyone there? Tectonic paradox. Those who know. Oh, you're here.
So the debate ends.
For now, there's nothing else we can.
All right. So I guess
Well, we
tomorrow
can more
you'll
appreciate
continue.
if you put that video as private for now. Put that video as private for now.
All right. Sure. I'll try and put it in private. But like, are y'all gonna debate tomorrow? Like,
We'll see. We'll see.
all right, we'll see then.